All right, so Jeff, welcome. And you have been working with the Sales Driven website for a few months now. And today I thought that we would really go deep into why you started working with us and the results that you've got. So why don't you tell us a little bit about yourself and a little bit about your business?
Okay, sure. Thanks, Marlon. I've had a property buyer's advocate business for a number of years, a very small business, and I source property for clients right from first-home buyers to existing owners looking to upgrade to investors, so quite a diverse market. And recently, in the last 2 or 3 years, the first-home buyer market has been quite strong. My biggest challenge is most of my business comes from referral partners, which is great, but it hasn't been a consistent flow, obviously. And I've been trying to generate a lead generation sort of source for a number of years, tried a few different areas from telemarketing to direct marketing to Facebook strategies, and really none of them has produced the results that I was sort of explaining would happen, I guess.
Yeah, and I remember when we first met, you were quite frustrated because you were trying so hard to get online to work and it just wasn't working for you.
Absolutely. I tried a different path online probably 2.5 years ago, and it just really wasn't working. It's very expensive, but it wasn't producing the results. And I had to believe in the online presence, how important it is, but I just really couldn't get the formula right, and just really struggled with consistent leads coming into the business.
All right. So when I sat down with you, I guess I probably sounded like a lot of people that have sat with you before, a lot of online marketers. I said, Jeff, we could build a sales-driven website for you and it could generate leads and you could take those leads and convert them. But I guess you'd heard it all before. So what were your concerns when you sat with me about what I was saying, and why did you eventually choose us and have confidence to move ahead?
Okay, yep, great question. So I have heard a lot of promises before, and I was very sceptical, and I came to the point of the business where it really was a turning point, to be honest. I had to make some changes, and very frustrating with everything I tried and money I invested in the marketing and the promises that were made didn't really fulfill. And it's like any business, we've all got a lot of competition, and there's a lot of digital marketing out there, a lot of website builders, like a lot of property agents. So how do you diversify and come from a point of difference? So a couple of reasons I did go with yourself, Marlon, is probably the main reason it was a referral from another business colleague that I highly value their advice. And so that led to the initial meeting, I guess, as opposed to getting emails every day from other companies that I don't follow any further. And then once we had a meeting, and I guess I gained more confidence in what you explained and showed me the type of website that you'd build and the different points of difference and why it would generate the leads. To be honest, I was still skeptical, but I did like the process that you sort of had going.
Yeah, and it's tough. I often sit with clients and I sympathize with them because everyone's making promises and very few are getting results. And so it's a challenge for me when I sit with a client because I try to be as upfront as possible. I say the negative and the positive. But at the end of the day, sometimes you just got to take a bit of a leap of faith, and you did. And we've got some pretty good results for you. So can you explain, kind of the results you've seen since working with us?
Once we actually turned the machine on and then we did our first lead generation ad, which was great because you gave me advice on how to structure it. The word copy, I think, I know that word copy is so important, and it's something that I've struggled with, and your word copy is very good. I like that. And then when you gave a plan and a point of direction. So this is the video I want you to record and some of the topics. I've got all the content, but it's really just how to put it together so that it appeals to the general market. That's what I struggle with. So I guess your direction, it made sense. And then once the ad was launched, and you said the results you thought were going to be very good, and I was obviously a bit sceptical of that, but to be honest, the results were really good and have been consistent leads coming in pretty much every day at a really cost-effective price as well.
So Jeff, so far we've generated 77 leads in 3 weeks at $2.75 per lead. Just a total spend of $211. So that is a very good result. But what has that meant for you to get 77 new warm prospects who want to speak to you about buying a new home? What has that meant for your business?
Well, it means that I'm very busy, which is great. So, as I mentioned, that's always been my struggle with a small business, because we don't have the resources of large companies with massive, marketing campaigns. So getting something cost effective and getting a lead and to be fair, most of the leads that I've spoken to, I've been pretty open about it. So I consider them warm leads, which is, again, anyone can get leads, but they're not necessarily interested, or they might have been coerced into signing up. But the ones I've spoken to so far, I've got a pretty positive result. That's led into, from a phone call into a online meeting, or a book a face-to-face meeting. So it's sort of progressing through that stages at the moment. So it's great that you've got leads sitting there, and there's always someone to pick up the phone. I know in any business, I think, sales is probably the number one challenge, and without leads, we can't make sales. So it's great that I've got a pipeline there of just continuously to make contact.
Yeah, you're right. And you make a really good point, Jeff, is that it's one thing to get a lead, and it's another thing to get a warm to hot lead. And there's no use having a whole bunch of leads that come in and you're paying for, and then these leads will never convert, because they're not your target market. And one of the things we did well with you and the Sales Driven website is we really highlighted who your prospect was, your perfect prospect, and then we crafted a message for them, and then we crafted a lead magnet or a giveaway that only that person would want. So we repelled people who weren't your perfect prospect and attracted only the perfect prospect. So as we're signing people up off Facebook, we're getting their phone number, their email, and their name. And then as they come in, they're a very warm prospect, and then you're actually following up with calls. And that is a critical part of this process that we've devised for you, is that you need to make the calls, and you're doing really well. Like, I'm really proud of what you've been doing. You've been making the calls, booking the appointments, having the meetings, and the funnel is actually working for you. So that must be a pretty good feeling to know that you've got people to call and meetings to attend.
Oh, absolutely. And one bit of advice I would give to anyone else looking at this lead generation business is, we probably don't all love getting on the phone and just ringing phone numbers, but I think it's really critical. And I follow up all the clients with an email, but really had the clients that I've just downloaded the ebook and then have gone to receiving an email haven't really responded. But the ones I've got on the phone, once you engage them the first time, then you can start having further ongoing, and then they'll start replying to your emails. So I think the advice I would give to any businesses is it's really important to jump on the phone and call these people direct if possible, So,
yeah.
But it's great that the numbers are there, and it gives me confidence, because every morning I can go into check the website, and there's new leads come in. So it's continually, it's not, a overnight success and then the day after it all falls over. It's been pretty consistent most days, which is fantastic. So obviously your process, works very well. I would recommend it to anyone that's looking, especially in a small to medium-sized business, that's looking to build their database or build their client base, because what you've said and gone through, now I'm actually seeing the results of that, and what you've promised has over-delivered, which is great, and it's in a very cost-effective manner. And the other thing I like, that you're keeping in contact and managing it, so if we can tweak it and improve it. So as you know, we ran 3 different ads with 3 different titles, same ad, sorry, with 3 different titles, and we're testing which one works best. And it's great because that weekly ongoing help is really important, so that I can improve and get it right, and obviously the better results will lead into more sales. So absolutely, I would recommend you, and the reasons why what you've promised is over-delivered, and it's been at a really cost-effective, and the ongoing support, which I find I like to learn and continually improve, and I think that's really helping me, and it keeps you on the, you can keep me accountable as well, which is important, so there's no good having all these leads sitting there if I'm not getting on the phone and making contact. So I think that's really important as well.
Yeah, great. And look, Jeff, you've done really well as well. It's a real partnership when I work and when we work with clients. We don't know everything about the client, but about your client, and so we depend on you to draw that information out, and then as we get the leads, we depend on you to follow up, and we coach you and work with you. But it's been a really good relationship. I've really enjoyed working with you, and hopefully you've enjoyed working with me as well. So thank you, Jeff. What I'm going to do is I'm going to actually go through the funnel that we built, and I'm going to show everyone the landing pages, the website, the ads, the Facebook ads campaign, and they can really get an understanding of how this whole system works together and where you fit into it and where we fit into it. So once again, before we go, thank you very much, and it's been great working with you.
likewise, Brian. Thank you very much for building the website and doing the lead generation ads, and look forward to continuing the ongoing business relationship. It's been really a positive experience. So thank you very much.
Great. All right. Bye, Jeff.
See ya.
So now I want to go through the funnel of what we built for Jeff and show you how it actually works, how we actually generate the leads and generate the appointments. So here's the sales-driven website. Now, every part of this website is there for a reason. We've optimized every component of the site and the homepage and the services page and the About Us page to convert as highly as possible. You can see that there's testimonials. We called this a love letter that we send to the actual user. And there's always call to actions, whether they're at the bottom, there's call to actions at the top, there's a call to action underneath the text in the header. And if you click here, this is his service, First Home Buyer Coaching. And that's what he is selling. And this is where the lead magnet is found. This is the lead magnet that we're getting people to sign up for. So they can sign up for it here on this page just beneath the header. Or they can go directly to the landing page. And this is where we're sending people to from Facebook. And if they land on this page from Facebook, they are then clicking here. They're filling in their details, and that's a lead. So let's go to the Facebook ads campaign and really show you from the very beginning what's actually happening. So this is the Facebook ads campaign. There's lots of numbers. You may or may not have seen this before. Let me just show you the most important numbers. This is a campaign we're running, and we're driving people from Facebook to this actual landing page. The way they're getting to that landing page is through this ad on Facebook. So you can see that there's an ad that's shown in Facebook. This is a video.
Are you a first-home buyer looking to get into the housing market? The government currently has two great incentives that are both potentially ending soon. Now, the first offer is known as the first home.
Someone will watch this video, they'll then click this button here, and then they'll go to the landing page that I told you about. They'll read this, and if they're happy, they will click here and they'll fill in their details, and then that's a lead that Jeff gets. Now, let me show you the stats on this. In 3 weeks of been running this campaign, Jeff has received 77 leads at a cost of $2.75 per lead. Okay, 221 people have landed on the website. They've actually landed on this page, and of that 221 people that landed on the page, 77 signed up. That's a 35% conversion rate of people who land on the page, then who signed up at a cost of $2.75 per lead. That's a very good result. And so for $2.75, Jeff is getting someone who is a warm lead. Now, think about this. If you sign up to 6 steps to buy your six-step guide to buying your first home, you're pretty much a first home buyer. Okay, you wouldn't waste your time if you're not. So that's telling Jeff a lot about this lead. And as he calls each lead, he's realizing that they're very good quality prospects. And so this is working very well because once he gets the lead, he'll follow up with a phone call and then book an appointment online and then an appointment in their home. And it's going very well for him now. Not everyone who he calls is going to book an appointment with him. And so what we do is we go down here and we actually send, so these are all the leads coming in, and we actually send these people a series of 3 emails, okay? So the first email gives them the ebook, the second one gives them information and asks them to actually book a strategy call, and the third one asks for information and books a strategy call. And this is an example of one of the emails we're sending. So we're not waiting just for Jeff to call people, we're actually nurturing them. And Jeff is actually getting a lot of people click this link and signing up for an appointment with him, booking into his calendar without actually speaking to him. And so when they click the link, this is where they go, and they can actually choose a time, a date and a time, and they can book an appointment directly with him. Okay? And then finally, this is some stats around those emails. You know, there's a 60% open rate on these emails. That's pretty remarkable. That is a huge open rate. Normally open rates are around 5 to 10%, and click-through rate is 20%. This means 20% of people who open the email actually click through to a link. Okay, so there's some great stats. So if we go back, there's a couple of things I just want to show you with the Facebook ads campaign. We know what the leads are costing. We know how many leads. This click-through rate's really important. This basically says of every 100 times the ad is shown, 1.41% of people actually click. Okay, that number is very important. If it's less than 1, you have to change your ad. If it's greater than 1, then your ad's good. Then you start looking at your landing page. So our ad's good, our landing page is good. That's why we're getting good leads at a really cheap rate. CPM is a number that says every time your ad is shown 1,000 times, how much does it cost you? Well, it's costing Jeff $11.83 to show the ad 1,000 times. That number is important because if that goes up to $50 to show it 1,000 times, his cost per lead goes up, 5 times as well. And so it's important to keep that number down. All right, so hopefully you've got a much better understanding of how a sales-driven website works, how it's put together, how the funnel works, and how you go from a prospect who knows nothing about you to go to your website, to fill in some details, to be nurtured, booked into an appointment, and then become a client. And so if you want this for your business, a funnel, a system, a sales-driven website that's predictable and gives you leads every single day, then book a strategy call with me, and I'm happy to go through your situation and see if we can actually help you. We can't help everybody, but most people we can get results similar to this that we're getting for GCT Property and Jeff. So click the button around this video, book a strategy call with me, and I'll look forward to speaking with you soon.